I'm Luke Doonan and I grew up on a council estate, so I know firsthand what a difference social housing can make. But today in the UK there's a chronic shortage of affordable housing.
The social housing situation in the country as a whole, and in London in particular, is absolutely dire.
You know, there's no houses for young people no more. You know, my friend's got a baby, she's been waiting something like 3 years on the waiting list. What's that all about?
And making things even worse, some tenants are abusing the system and making a small fortune through unlawfully subletting their council properties.
It's absolutely diabolical.
You're always going to find people that take advantage of the system.
I would make them leave, and yeah, I'd prosecute them.
In this series, I'll be joining housing fraud investigators out on the streets.
I'm here to have a chat with you about a couple of matters.
As they crack down on tenancy cheats.
It's illegal what you've been doing.
Reclaim the properties.
Can I high five you?
You can.
Oh my God.
And give them to families in genuine need.
I am a very happy man.
You look a very happy man, and I'm happy that you're a happy man.
This is Council House Crackdown. Today, I'm at an eviction to clear a property that was making a tenant thousands of pounds of profit.
So that's 4 bedrooms which are being sublet overall. You're probably looking at around about £2,000 per month.
Oh my God. Meet a family who've been on the waiting list for a new home for almost 2 decades.
And we had to wait nearly 18 years.
18 years. And catch an unlawful subletter red-handed.
It's illegal what you've been doing.
In 2013, the Prevention of Social Housing Fraud Act came into force, making the unauthorised subletting of council properties a criminal offence, punishable with a fine of up to £50,000 and 2 years in prison. Our first case gives us the chance to see the power this new act gives to housing officers desperate to get properties back that are unlawfully sublet, so they can give them to families who really need them. This is Waltham Forest in North East London, where today I'm joining forces with housing officer Yumi and fraud investigator Avril, who in the past 4 years has helped get a whopping 263 homes back off people caught unlawfully subletting them. And today she's hoping to get another one. Tell me a little bit about the case. How did this come to you, and why is this important?
The local authority notified us that they believe the lawful tenant's not living there but living in a linked property around the corner, also in Waltham Forest. It is very important because social housing is a very restricted resource, and one that we need to ensure our lawful tenants are living in, and we're providing homes to those that genuinely need it.
What kind of property is it?
The property is a 2-bedroom, 2nd floor flat. I don't know what state it'll be in. I hope she's looked after the property, or whoever's living there has looked after the property.
They suspect their tenant is actually living at a house around the corner that she owns worth £500,000 and has been doing so since 1986.
You look very keen to start knocking.
I'm always
so
very keen.
Shall we head
yes,
off?
Please.
Who's that?
Circle 33.
With no idea who's behind the door, I've been asked to hang back.
Very early in the morning, it's 7 o'clock. Getting people up really when they're just waking.
We're from Circle Housing. We've come to do a tenancy audit of the property today, please. I just want to get in.
It sounds like she's going to let you in, but she's obviously going to do her stuff.
I want her on side, so I don't want to antagonise her.
The loud noises of children coming from inside the property are starting to raise serious suspicions. Is the kind of noise you would expect from this property?
No.
What would you expect in this situation?
An older lady with a daughter who's in her 30s, so
Right.
very unlikely to have children running around.
Not kids. It's
living there.
Yeah, it's quite loud in there. It sounds like there's quite a few children there.
It does, yes. So the property could also be overcrowded as well.
Avril is concerned that the delay in letting them in may be deliberate.
She could be making a phone call to the lawful tenant. I can't hear her, I can hear the children running around.
I get the impression that we've really caught them unawares, so it sounds like they're clearing up or doing something inside before they let the housing officers in.
Hello, thank you. Come here to do a tenancy audit of the property this morning, okay?
I guess the great thing is they were home and the tenancy fraud officers have managed to get in the property, so we'll see what happens next.
Suddenly, someone sneaks out of the flat without Avril knowing, but unaware I'm waiting outside.
No. This is a public area owned by the Housing Association. We have every right to film here.
So there might be more people in the property, or more people living in the property than we thought. They're coming out now.
Okay, thank you. Alright, bye.
That was a bit dramatic. Tell me what you found.
The lady who's living there with 3 children told us the lawful tenant left about 7 o'clock this morning. I don't believe her. There's a BT bill on the side and a phone. The bill's in her name, not the tenant's name.
Okay.
And also there's other letters there to her.
You pretty much are convinced that the person in the property is not your tenant?
She's definitely not our
So
tenant.
3 children. I saw a lady come out.
Yes.
So there's 5 people in a two-bedroom property.
We need to get round to the other property now.
Concerned the lady subletting their flat unlawfully is calling the tenant to warn her, it's a race against time to get to her before she can go into hiding. We'll find out later if they make it. Across Britain, there's almost 2 million households on the social housing waiting list. In Liverpool, the list has doubled to 13,000 in a decade. There's more than 20,000 in Manchester, 25,000 in Edinburgh. But it's not just cities affected, as there's 27,000 waiting in Cornwall. It's a serious issue I know people care about.
Social housing should go to the people who need it most.
Whenever I came to the council, they were laughing at me like, you've only been on the housing list for a year. There's people been waiting for 6-7 years. You're not going to get a house anytime soon.
With so many families desperately in need of an affordable home, it makes my blood boil to think that so many of these properties are taken up by tenants on the take. I'm about to meet a family in a similar position to my family all those years ago. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Luke.
Hi,
nice
I'm
to meet
Natalie.
you. High school sweethearts Michael and Natalie have always worked, but have never been able to afford a home of their own, so relied on a 2-bed social home.
When we got married, a year later we had Laura, and the housing trust we were with then gave us a 2-bed property to go to.
Okay. What was that like? Were you happy with that?
Yes, the flat itself in Southfields was very nice. Mm-hmm. 1 double bedroom for us and 1 single bedroom for Laura.
So the flat kind of fitted your needs at that time?
Yes, absolutely.
When Ben was born a few years later, the 2-bed flat became too small, but with Michael as the sole breadwinner and 2 children to support, they had no chance of affording a mortgage for a bigger home.
So we applied to the Housing Trust again for a transfer as and when one came available for a bigger place. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, with the sort of social housing crisis that there was then, it wasn't possible to move us to a bigger place. One lady at the Housing Trust did tell me that they get a 3-bedroom property become available once every 3 years.
Wow.
And they already had 53 people in front of us.
You must have thought never going to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
With a family of 4 living in cramped conditions, desperate times called for desperate measures.
In the end, we divided the front room up so as the children could have a bedroom each.
Okay.
And then moved into the single bedroom ourselves. It
got really quite desperate. There have been some very bleak times where we've just sat down and thought this is never going to happen. Why weren't we able to buy our own place? You know, I'm sure we've punished ourselves time and time again, because why didn't we get a much better job with better money to be able to buy our own place? But not everybody can.
Sitting here, it sounds like as a family you really dealt with a tricky and tight situation really well.
I think we've come a long way. Sorry.
I guess over all those years there's probably been quite a few tears shed at the frustration of all this, and just generally the situation. You've got a beautiful family, and I just think you should be incredibly, incredibly proud, genuinely.
We're a tight-knit unit. We're the Angels. We're a team. We battle on.
It's properties like this 3-bed house in southwest London that families like the Angels have found so hard to come by, which makes it all the more frustrating when they fall into the hands of fraudsters. The investigators at Viridian Housing Association suspected someone was making a fortune by unlawfully subletting it. So a team led by Katrina dug deeper.
Tell me a little bit about this case.
Well, we'd had suspicions raised before and we'd had anonymous calls made about the property, but you only really started to properly investigate it in 2011.
And what did you know about the occupant?
Well, we knew she was a long-standing Irish tenant, and obviously we knew about the property, which is a very large 3-bedroom house in a fabulous area of Wandsworth, so it was like gold dust for us to get a large property like that that we think might have been sublet.
What kicked off the full-scale investigation?
It was a tenancy audit when one of our housing officers attended the property to establish who was living there, and the person who was living there was a relative of the tenant, and said they were there looking after the property and her cat while she was on holiday.
I'm going to the property with the investigator who carried out the audit. To protect her identity for future undercover work, we've been asked not to show her face.
The morning you came here, tell me what happened.
We came here early, unannounced, knocked on the door. A female, sort of early 30s, came to the door. She said she was the cousin of the tenant. The tenant had to be called away for a family issue. Any other information you found on that day? It was rubbish collection day that day, and there was a rubbish bag outside on the pavement that was an orange recycling bag, so it was slightly see-through. We could actually see a piece of card with the subtenant's name on it.
Ooh. If it was being sublet, it's got 3 bedrooms. What do you think they might be charging a month?
Over £2,000.
And I'm scared to ask, dare I ask, how much would this be for the tenant officially paying you a social rent on this property?
£120 a week.
So somebody could be making about £1,500 a month
potentially,
through illegally subletting this beautiful house.
Yeah, potentially.
Wow.
We'll find out what happened to this property and the Angel family later on. In the UK, there's a serious shortage of affordable homes, leaving 5 million people without one. In 2014, only 43,000 were built in England. 15,000 were constructed in Scotland, with the Welsh falling way behind with only 2,500 built.
Well, there's a huge shortage of council houses and social housing all over London and the UK, so anyone that doesn't need it, they're effectively taking over someone else's opportunity for a home.
You know, there are huge lists of people who need these houses. The need is incredible.
If someone's able to live somewhere else and rent that out for profit, then their need can't be all that great.
Not all tenancy fraud involves unlawful subletting. The Right to Buy scheme allows council tenants a discount to buy their home of up to £78,000 across most of the country and up to £100,000 in London. But some tenants are trying to cheat the system and make a quick buck by buying a property that they no longer need and no longer live in. One such Right to Buy fraud case happened in Bolton in Lancashire. The property that grabbed local investigators' attention was a 2-bed house, which the tenant was trying to purchase at a knockdown price using the Right to Buy scheme. But they not only suspected she wasn't living there, she could have been subletting it, a blatant breach of the rules. It was the job of Gareth at Bolton at Home to investigate.
An anonymous report came through. It was initially came through as a subletting case. We'd had our eye on that property before, so there was some information that came through, it completely set alarm bells ringing. We knew we need to investigate as soon as possible.
Fearing the property was being unlawfully sublet, Gareth headed straight there to see who was living there.
What were your hopes? What were you hoping to find?
I was hoping to find that someone else would be in that property due to the allegation coming through that it was being sublet.
In Bolton, there are just over 18,000 households on the waiting list for a new social home, so this property in question is very highly sought after.
It's really attractive, isn't it? That's a really nice property. So I can imagine this is just what people on your waiting lists would kill to live in, really.
Exactly, yeah. It's such a really nice area, good condition property. I knocked on the door expecting someone to come, but no one actually came to the door. So I looked inside. The property was furnished, but it didn't seem that anyone was inside.
Gareth visited the property 5 more times, each with the same frustrating result.
No one was in. Neighbours confirmed that they had seen the tenant, but not on a regular basis.
The only way to see who was coming and going was to set up secret surveillance on the house.
The only way to really make sure that this property is being fraudulently used is to do, in effect, a stakeout.
This is really proper detective work. You're physically sitting in this car, and are we sitting where you sat to watch this property?
Yeah, this is exactly where it was sat. It's in view of the property. I can see the front door. I can see anyone that comes in and goes from that property.
How long in total do you think you spent watching this one property?
I would probably say I've spent around about 30 to 35 hours outside that property.
Wow, that's a long time. Did you ever fall asleep?
No.
After a few weeks of surveying the house morning and night, super sleuth Gareth concluded it wasn't being sublet, as nobody went in or out, apart from once when the tenant showed up.
She just went straight to the property, opened the door, went inside. She was in around about 20 minutes and then came out carrying a big handful of posts, got in a car and then drove off.
So if it's not just one day's mail she has in her hand, she's clearly not living there.
Precisely that. She's come out with a load of mail. From the evidence that I gathered from sitting outside and not seeing her for weeks, that for us was a moment where you thought, right, that is solid evidence there that she is not living at that property.
The property was apparently empty, a breach of the right to buy rules in which tenants must live full-time in the council home they wish to purchase. Then another tip-off revealed a twist in the tale. The tenant, who they thought was a single mum, was apparently living with her husband in a large property nearby.
What we did a check on the alleged property where she was supposed to be living, and that came up that it was up for sale. So once we'd googled it, came up on one of the estate agent sites, and on the first page there was a picture of her car on that drive.
Wow, that's a really nice house.
Yeah.
That's like a luxury 4-bed house. That's really lovely. And is that her car here?
That's her car, yeah.
So you must have thought you'd kind of hit. I know you've got other things to prove, but you must have thought, bingo, we've got her there.
We knew that was going to be a very key piece of information.
How did you feel when you saw that the alleged property was such a desirable place?
It was very frustrating, to be honest, because we know that our properties are quite in demand, and we knew that this person could afford to live at such a large property.
What other things can you do to strengthen the connection between her, the house and the car?
There's other information that's available on the internet, including social media, and some of that
Oh wow!
It's information that we've gathered from the internet, which shows the tenant beside the car on that driveway.
With the information stacking up against the tenant, she was called in for questioning and admitted only living in her property 2 days a week.
So I'm sure in the interview you explained that you need that property. She's not living in it. You need it to house people that really need it. Did you have any sympathy for your point of view?
No, not really. There was no empathy around that and no remorse.
After a year of searching, surveillance and stakeouts, Gareth was set to start civil proceedings. A court date was set, but then he received a surprise phone call.
She openly just terminated the tenancy.
So you cancel the right to buy, obviously. You've got her giving notice on the property, so effectively giving the property back with the keys. Amazing, amazing result.
And it's been allocated already.
Brilliant work, well done.
Yep.
Housing fraud can make crooks a fortune until they get caught. In Yorkshire, one crook had to cough up £18,000 he had defrauded the council out of. In London, one lady was ordered to give back £44,000 after subletting her flat for 6 years. And in 2013, a benefit cheat in Cambridge had to pay back a massive £100,000.
It's clearly illegal and wrong for people to be subletting and abusing the system. Nobody would argue that that is good or right.
I think if they've got a council house they're not using it, I think it should be given to people who have got more of a priority, more of a need.
If I do something wrong that's not within the legal parameter, I think the public would expect me to be prosecuted.
I'm back on the case with investigator Avril and housing officer Yumi, as we're tracking a council tenant suspected of unlawfully letting her home. We've already visited the house she's supposed to live in and found an unknown family living there.
I need to come in and have a look around. I need to conduct a tenancy audit, please.
So your gut feeling is that this property is being sublet?
Oh, definitely.
We're now racing to get to the house we suspect the tenant owns, but are worried she's been tipped off by the lady subletting from her.
I guess your dream scenario would be that she's there in the property she owns, which would pretty much confirm.
It would do, yes.
But when we arrive, our worst suspicions are realised.
I couldn't hear a ring. There's no curtains twitching.
There's nobody home. Avril has spotted a neighbour, so goes to get some clues to see if their tenant is actually living at the property.
Do you know who is living next door, please? There, does she? Do you know how long she's been living there, please?
Yeah, more than us. We've been here 8 years.
Right, okay. Roughly what age is she? 30s, 40s, 50s? 60s?
50s, and 60, I don't know.
The neighbour has given the first name of the lady living there. We've decided not to reveal it, but it's the same as the tenant who's supposed to be living in their social housing property.
The neighbour says that a lady lives here in her 50s or 60s. She lives alone, possibly has lodgers there sometimes, but she's been living here a good number of years.
Okay, and if I'm not wrong, that sounds like your
she's very much sounds
your tenant.
Like our tenant, yes. Let's bang on the door.
After 20 more minutes of silence, we begrudgingly have to admit defeat.
A little disappointed, but we have to be realistic. We're not going to catch people in every visit that we make.
And from where I'm standing, this is a really nice house, probably £400,000 or £500,000.
Possibly, yes.
And it looks like your tenant, who should be living in your social housing property a mile away, is living in this house while subletting.
Very much looks like that, yes.
That must kind of eat at you when you do your job.
It makes me very angry. It's socially and morally wrong. We need our properties for those that genuinely need it, and for those that are going to be perpetuating fraud, we will go all out to uncover them, and I know that we will get our property back. Definitely.
That's very determined of you, everyone. I think that's fantastic.
We will do.
You promise to keep me updated because I'm intrigued by this.
Oh yes, I will do. Thank you.
Suddenly, Yumi's seen something that could give us a major breakthrough.
As we were walking down the street, we've just seen someone who fits the tenant's description walk in to the property. So we're now going to go and knock again and see if she'll open the door.
Hello.
Good morning.
From Circle Housing?
From Circle Housing.
Yeah.
I'm Yumi and this is Avril.
We need to come in and speak to you, please. But we need to see you.
Just a few minutes. Yeah. Why are you seeing me in the house here? Why can't you see me outside there?
Because I need to come in and speak to you. I'd rather not be standing on the doorstep talking to you.
Yeah, because the place is my sister who owns the place. She's not in, and the place is for charity.
Okay, but we only need to come into one room. We don't want to walk around your property. We just want to... Thank you.
So the housing officers have been let in, and the lady that opened the door fits the description of the tenant of the flat around the corner. I don't think we're going to be allowed in, but it'd be interesting to see what she says.
I think you know why we're here today.
Avril is wearing a microphone so we can hear what's going on inside. The tenant has given us permission to broadcast the conversation.
We went to your property this morning and you weren't there. Okay. And there's living there. Sorry?
Daughter, yes.
Well, she didn't say she was your daughter. Your daughter is listed as a household member, not as a tenant, not as a joint tenant. You are the sole tenant of that property.
But where?
It's not your daughter, and she's got bills going in her name to that property.
I'm starting to get nervous again, just to see what is going on, who lives here, whose home it is, who owns it, who doesn't own it.
I was contacted by Waltham Forest Council Tax Department, okay, and they told me that you own this property. You are listed on the land registry as the owner of this property. Now, you cannot own a property while you've got a social housing tenancy.
What happened is that I don't own. My sister, she's gone abroad.
No, you are listed as the land registry.
I'm doing all the things. I'm paying all the bills and everything. That's what I'm doing.
I'm telling you that you are listed as the proprietor, the owner of this property, and have been since 1986. Okay? It's illegal what you've been doing.
Just standing outside, it's a really nice residential street. It's very quiet, nice sized front garden. It's well looked after. It's clearly a home.
With the new Housing Act giving the investigators power to prosecute, Avril reads the Tenant the Right Act.
So I'm giving you two options, okay? I'm going to give you the option of us taking you to court and prosecuting you for subletting. Subletting is now a criminal offence, okay? And that could lead you up to a fine of up to £50,000 and up to 2 years in prison. Or I can get you to sign a tenant's notice to quit, which will give you 4 weeks to give us vacant possession of road. And you walk away, we walk away, that's it.
Okay, could you give me time to think about it?
Right, I can write this out at the moment, okay, while you're thinking, okay.
Avril's giving it to her.
Either you sign this tenant's notice to quit.
So I should tell my daughter to leave the place?
Yeah.
Why
This
not?
will give us full vacant possession of the property in 4 weeks from next Monday. Okay, so it gives you 4.5 weeks really to clear the property, or we will prosecute you. That is the only choices I can give you, I'm afraid. I can't give you any other choices.
After 10 minutes of tough negotiating, the tenant has made her mind up.
Hello.
Hello.
Talk to me.
Notice to quit has been signed. She's given us 4 weeks vacant possession.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Can I high five you?
You can.
Oh my God. Oh, that's fantastic. What happened?
We presented her with the evidence we have and what we knew. She wanted to dispute it, saying her daughter lived in the other property. We said that's not acceptable. You own this property. You can't do that. It's illegal. So we offered her the opportunity to either sign the property back to us or to go to court and be prosecuted.
Wow.
Face prosecution.
You did that in about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow. So that's one property back. How are you feeling, Avril? I know how passionate you are about this.
I feel justified in what I've done this morning. Totally justified.
Congratulations to you both. That's
Thank
just
you.
fantastic. Is that, for me, that was so quick. Is that the quickest result you've had, or?
I've had one quicker, but no, that was quite good. That was quite rapid.
That was less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Another property back for someone who really needs it. That makes you guys happy, and it certainly makes me really happy. Congratulations.
It just shows that when you've got the investigation, you've done your homework before you go to the property, rather than just turning up at the property cold calling. If you've done your homework, then you'll get a quicker result.
Sure. Guys, it's been a complete pleasure, and I hope to work with you again very soon. Thank you so much, and well done on today's result.
Thank you.
Okay. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We got here really early this morning and we didn't know what we were going to find. 2 hours later, we've got one more flat back for someone who really needs it. What a great result.
From 2009 to 2013, councils across the country spent £2 billion putting families on the waiting list in temporary accommodation. It cost Leicester Council £15.2 million. The City of Birmingham spent £37 million, Glasgow shelled out £116 million, and in London they spent an amazing £1.6 billion.
It does make me quite angry that people are making money out of council properties when they shouldn't be.
I don't really think they're thinking of the bigger picture, to be fair. They're thinking more personally of how can I better myself and how can I better my life.
I do think it's totally wrong.
Some cases can be closed very quickly, but others require months of painstaking detective work. I'm about to meet housing officers nearing the end of an 18-month investigation. They're about to seize back a property and evict anyone still living there. The house in question is in Clapham, South London, where on this street the average property price is £800,000. Social housing fraud investigator Will suspected it had been sublet for years, making his tenant an astronomical amount of money, so has been compiling evidence for a year and a half.
How did the actual case land on your desk?
It was actually a tip-off from one of the neighbours and informed us that the tenants who were supposed to be in the property are no longer there, but have left the son to sublet the property out.
Okay.
Will and his colleagues immediately visited the house to see who was living there, and it wasn't their tenant.
In the visit, we found a number of people who were renting out rooms from the family.
How many rooms were they renting out?
We found that 3 rooms are being rented out.
Oh, all 3?
The loft space, which really isn't designated as a bedroom, was being rented out as well. So that indicates 4 bedrooms rented out in total.
So in this case, do you think that any of the 3 or 4 people were in on it? Did they know about it?
They didn't. They were told, allegedly, by the tenant's son that the house actually belonged to his parents and also grandparents. So they had definitely been duped into subletting this property.
How much profit do you think this illegal subletting was making per month?
You're probably looking at around about £2,000 per month.
Profit?
That's correct.
Oh my God.
After gathering evidence for over a year, Will took the tenants to court to gain legal possession of the property, but he didn't expect what happened next.
Funnily enough, we actually received a set of keys to the property, which were dropped here at our head office. Now, unfortunately, we didn't know the individual who dropped them off.
Is it quite common for you to just get someone walking in and just come and give keys back?
Not really. It was quite perplexing why they were doing that.
After months of arduous investigation, Will finally had the keys, so he went straight round to the house to check it out.
First you have to knock on the door. No answer. I then opened the door, walked into the hallway of the property, and I found a lot of belongings on the floor. Knowing that I was by myself, even though I had my protection device with me, I decided that I would leave the property and we would wait until we actually got the eviction date through from the courts.
Well, talk to me about this protection device you mentioned.
Now, every time we go into a property, we switch on the device and we can tell the device where we are. It'll actually make a recording.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so if there is to be any risk in a property, or we feel there's an incident that's about to happen, then we can actually press this middle button.
Right.
Now, this is a red alert, which then goes to a call centre in Sheffield, who will then listen in to the conversation being had through the speaker. And then from that, if they believe that an incident has happened, then they can also call the police, and the police will come straight around to that property.
That's incredibly clever, and it must be so reassuring for you, especially in a situation like this and going into a property on your own.
That's right. It's always good to have these sort of devices with us. You know, as you said, it's very reassuring knowing that if something does happen, then we'll have the police to at least come to our aid.
It's fantastic, and more importantly, it's very 007.
Unable to clear the property safely on his own, today is the big day where Will has called in the bailiffs to evict anyone left at the property so he can get it back. It's a risky job, so the bailiff is wearing a stab vest.
Hi there, you okay? I'm Will, one of the other neighbour managers as well.
Hello there.
Hi there, you okay?
Lock's being changed, the tenant has left.
Right, so what's
The bailiff was assigned by an agency and was keen to get going. He's cleared the property before we got there, including a suspected subtenant.
So what's happening here at the moment, Will?
Okay, the bailiff is just ensuring that all the windows are secure. Obviously, we don't want another scenario whereby, for example, squatters can see that the property is empty, and to stop any other unauthorised persons coming into the property. For example, any old occupants.
Sure.
Ideally, Will would like to get another family in straight away, but judging by the state of the house, it'll take a lot longer than that.
As you can see, the flooring has come up. We've also got a bit of graffiti just above the door there as well. Okay, something I've also just noticed as we were walking in, we've got a couple of pizza boxes above the microwave just here. Now, if we look at the sticker that's on there, this pizza was only ordered a couple of days ago, which obviously is another sign to say that someone has been living here right up until the point of this morning. What's also very interesting as well, so we also have a telephone number on here too.
Wow.
Which would be very useful for us going forwards to try and find out who has actually been living here.
So you got 3...
That's right, so 3 bedrooms on this floor, but as you can also see, we've also got a ladder going up to the loft space. Now we believe this was also converted into a bedroom as well. So that's 4 bedrooms which are being sublet overall.
Now, looking around, these bedrooms are mostly empty, but it's kind of clear that someone's been staying here, sleeping in that bed, and I wouldn't want to sleep in that bed. I think your bailiff gentleman wants to sign the property over to you. So I guess that's pretty much your job done. Is this a kind of standard procedure? You come in, you check the windows, you make sure everything's secure, yes. Then you sign the property over back to the Housing Association.
That's correct. Yes.
Job done for you then?
Yes, on to the next one. Just a quick signature there, just so you have possession of the property.
How many of these would you do a day?
Anything from a dozen upwards.
Wow, so a lot. And is this a common kind of thing that you find?
It is, yes.
With illegal subletting, that people might be here, they might even know the game's up, and then they just... I mean, the guy didn't do a runner, he left on a bike with a very small carry bag, which looks like he was kind of just dossing down here.
He did say he would be back within 14 days to collect any larger items.
Right.
I've given your office telephone number, so he can do so.
Okay, we'll let you get on to the next one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
So this property, it must be gold dust for you.
That's correct. 3-bedroom flats don't come back to us very often, and there's a big shortage of these type of properties here in London. So I'm even more pleased again that we're going to have a family moving into this property who haven't had a property like this in years, and someone who actually deserves it as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And I think it really is incredible work you're doing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
People committing social housing fraud across the country come from all walks of life. In Bristol, a well-paid lecturer and qualified barrister was found to be letting out a home whilst owning 2 others. A journalist living in Wolverhampton was found to have lied about being homeless to get a council house. And a doctor living in Wales was convicted for subletting his council home in London's posh Kensington.
Shouldn't be allowing people to sublet council houses that they've been given in good faith.
I think there is probably a lack of social housing. There's a lot of new developments that have been built, but I'm not sure that they actually cater for the kind of the social housing needs of those communities.
I think if people are being stopped from getting into social housing through people subletting, there's obviously a big problem there that needs to be sorted out.
Earlier, I met the Angel family, who for the past 18 years had lived in a 2-bed council home far too small for 4 people.
Divided the front room up so the children could have a bedroom each.
Okay.
And then moved into the single bedroom ourselves.
With only one 3-bed social property becoming available every 3 years, they were totally desperate, as they were 53rd on the waiting list.
I think we've come a long way.
I guess over all those years there's probably been quite a few tears shed at the frustration of all this and just generally the situation.
Recovering any large social property suspected of unlawful subletting is crucial, and this one in southwest London was on top of the investigators' list.
If it was being sublet, it's got 3 bedrooms. What do you think they might be charging a month?
Over £2,000.
Fearing the tenant was making a fortune, this fraud officer, who wishes to remain anonymous, gathered incriminating evidence.
We're a member of the National Anti-Fraud Network, which allows us to make further checks against people, properties. On this particular case, a couple of names came up that we didn't know about, and then when further checks were conducted, it seemed to suggest that they had been there for 3 or 4 years.
Wow, that's a really long time.
Yeah.
The investigators knew that the subletters were in on the scam and believed they were paying rent far lower than normal to the tenant because of it, so they were able to save up a nest egg.
The checks made on their sort of finance suggested that they were in the process of looking to buy their own property.
Really?
Because there was a joint mortgage application that had recently been made.
Lucky them. Did that surprise you?
No, because if they were paying our level of rent, which is quite low, obviously lower than market rent, that would allow them to build up a nice deposit to buy their own property.
In terms of contact with your tenant, did you have any at this stage of the investigation?
No, not until we'd served her with the notices, and within a few days we had a fax from her solicitor saying, with a signed notice to quit.
Really?
And then a couple of days later the keys had been sent by recorded delivery.
Wow.
And the family rehomed into this fantastic 3-bedroom property were most certainly deserving of it.
Hello again. How are you? Good to see you. You okay?
See you again, yeah.
So this is your beautiful house.
This is our dream house.
Wonderful. Can I have a tour?
Come on in, I'll show you around. Luke, come on through.
Thank you. Wow, this is nice.
Yes, this is our family lounge.
Very light.
Yes.
And how does this compare to your last property?
This is completely different. It's a world apart. It's so much bigger, more comfy, more spacious. We can all sit here and chill out, and it's just a world apart.
Feels great. This is lovely. Can I see more?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Let me show you around. So let me show you Laura's bedroom.
Okay, so downstairs bedroom. This is a good size as
Yeah,
well.
really good size for Laura.
So I guess as a family, everyone having their own individual space and the kids having their rooms is just a massive, massive important
Yeah,
thing for you.
it's something that, to be honest, we never thought would happen. It is, I mean, a dream come true sounds like a cliche, but it's not, because it really is. This is all that we've ever wanted.
It's not only the Angel family who are thrilled. After helping them get rehomed, investigator Katrina has become a family friend.
See, what a beautiful day. Katrina, very, very lovely to see you again. How are you?
Great to see you. I'm good, thank you. It's good to see you too.
So Katrina, it must be really satisfying for you to be here now, the end result, a family who needed this social housing property being given it.
Absolutely. I'm very passionate about tenancy fraud and about stopping people that do make illegal profits and sublet our properties that are needed for decent, lovely families like this. And I'm just so glad that they have now got the opportunity to create a really lovely home here.
So Michael, is this the lifestyle you ever thought you might have, sitting out here with your family in the sun?
I never dreamed of getting the house, to be honest, but now it's finally here. It's wonderful.
So dream come true, really?
Dream come true, it definitely is.
Seeing the Angel family in their new home is a fantastic result, and today we've seen 4 cases, all with positive outcomes. But housing fraud officers are fighting a daily battle against tenancy cheats, and they won't rest until every council and housing association property is occupied by a family that genuinely needs it.
A dreamy staircase or too many steps? Take your pick of homes under the hammer next on BBC One. Then life hangs in the balance with close calls on camera at 11. And later, the air hunters investigate a high-stakes case with an estate worth £250,000 at 11:30.